Well, hello again. Welcome to our reading of the Septuagint. We're reading the book of Judges, the story of Samson. We're up to chapter 14, and I think I got up to verse 12. Kai epen autois Samson problema humin probalamai. So just in the previous bit, Samson's decided to have a drinking party, a potos, going on for 7 days. He says to them, that is these kletos, these people that he's invited, the guests, so Samson says to them, and we get problema, probalamai. It's a nice sound here. The Greek likes to use nouns and cognate verbs. A problema, we get our word problem from this, of course, and it simply means a riddle, something to be solved, something I throw in front of you, literally, to be solved. So he says, I offer to you, I place before you a problem, a riddle. Ean ap angelontes epangelete. Again, we get this participle plus noun. So if reporting back, you report, auto in tais hepta hemerais tu potu kai hurete doso humin triaconta syndonas kai triaconta stolas himation. So if you reporting back, you report it, that is, you explain it, in the 7 days of the drinking party, and kai hurete, well, literally you find it, so you find the solution, you find the secret of the riddle. Doso, I will give to you 30 syndonas. It's word for garments. In Hebrew, the Hebrew word is sometimes rendered as othonia. In fact, it is in the next verse. The Hebrew has the same word in the Hebrew, so it's variation, variatio, which the Septuagint writers liked to use. Both words of syndonas and othonia occur in Matthew 27 and John 19, and they would seem to imply the two words were just synonyms; they're just interchangeable. Here it's 30 stolas himation. Well, this means changes of clothing, changes of garments. So he's going to give them 30 garments and 30 changes of garments. Kai ean mei dunestai apangela moi dositi humas moi tria conta othonia. And there we get this word here replaced with this one, but the Hebrew's got the same word. Kai tria conte ala somenas stolas himation. And there we get the same expression here, but we've got this extra participle. There's no participle in the Hebrew here, so this may be explanatory, I think. Anyway, so if you are not able to report back to me, that is to tell me the answer to the riddle, you will give to me 30 othonia, 30 garments, and 30, now they make it clear that this is exchanges, so garments in exchange for garments, so changes of clothing. And it may be, there's no participle in the Hebrew, he may have added this in to just explain this slightly obscure expression, stolas himation. Kai apen, and they said to him, they said to him, pro balu, that's aorist imperative, put before us the problem, the riddle, and kus sometha auto, and we will hear it, future. Kai apen autois, ti broton ex aelthen ek bibroskontos, kai apa iskuru gluku. So, what edible thing comes out from the one eating? Bibrosko is the verb here. The root of it, it's got a reduplicated present. The root of it is bros. It comes from the word bromine in chemistry is cognate with this, because bromine, I think, eats or dissolves various other metals and things. And the broton is also from that same root. We get this bro root. So what edible thing proceeds from the one who eats? And what gluku, what sweet thing, you've got to understand, comes out from, proceeds from that which is strong. Kai uk e dunanto apengelato problema epi tres hemeras. And they were not able to report back the, it's the riddle, in other words, to solve the riddle in 3 days. So after 3 days. Kai agenato enta hemera te tetate, kai epanto te gunaiki Samson apateson de tonandrasu, kai apengelato soi to problema. Me poti katakausomen se kaiton oikon tu patros su in puri. He ek biasai humas kekle kate. And it came to pass that on the 4th day, now oddly enough the Hebrew here has the 7th day, which doesn't quite make sense, because they've just said here they couldn't answer it after 3 days, and then naturally the 4th day would come next, but and it's not consistent also with what we get a bit later on, where the 7 days mentioned later on. But anyway, he's got the 4th day here. The Hebrew has the 7th day, and they said to the wife of Samson, perhaps to the woman, it's not, presumably they had married at this point, I'm not clear from the context. So they said to the wife of Samson, apateson de tonandrasu. This is an imperative from apatao. Apate is the word for deceit. So this is the apatao is I deceive. This is the imperative. So deceive, and the day is very emphatic then. So deceive then your husband, or now. So now deceive your husband and report it must be like something like get him to report, to announce to you the riddle, i.e. the solution to the riddle. So this has the sense of to make him to report to you the riddle. Me poti katakausomen. This is a lest ever. This is subjunctive from katakaio. That's an upsilon in there. We get a vowel gradation here. Kaio ekausa is the aorist. Lest, and the kata is very emphatic, lest we completely burn you to death, and the house of your father. En puri, instrumental use here, with fire. He ek biasai hemas kekle kati. This is a question here. Kaleo can mean to invite as well as call upon. So, did you invite us? And now this A is introducing a question, which is again quite classical usage. You don't normally see this in prose, certainly not later prose here. But it's introducing a question. So, did you invite us, ek biasai, us here, to literally force us out? So a fairly odd expression. Did you invite us here to dispossess you, to force us out, to take us out by force? Kai eklaus en hegune Samson prosauton kai epin plain me missekas me kai uk agapesas me, hoti to problema, hopro ebalu, tois viois tu la umu, uk ap angelas moi. Okay, let's just stop it there. So the woman wept, this is from Clio again, the woman, the wife of Samson wept to him, so was weeping before him, and said, now plain often just has the sense of but you have hated me, from Missio, and you have not loved me. Notice we're getting agapao here, which is reserved in the New Testament for more spiritual love. Here it's just between husband and wife. So, but you have hated me and you have not loved me, because you have not reported to me the problema, that's the puzzle, the riddle, which you put forward to the sons of my people. Kai epen aute Samson e to patri mu kai hemetri mu uk apengela soi apengelo. And it's almost here, it's very ironic. So he says, if I did not explain or report back, if I did not explain it to my father and my mother, apengelo, now this is an aorist subjunctive, and it's a rhetorical question. So it's something like, would I explain it to you? You can see it's aorist because of the vowel gradation and one lambda, and the ending tells me it's got to be it's going to be a subjunctive of some sort, an aorist subjunctive here, a strong aorist subjunctive, in fact. So if I did not explain it to my mother and my father, would I explain it to you? Kai eklausen prosauton epitas hepta hemeras, has en autois hopotos. And she wept before him for the 7 days which the drinking party was for them. So while the drinking party was going on, we say in English. Kai ageneto ente hemrata hebdome, kai ap angelon aute. And it came to pass on the 7th day also, he explained it, or reported it back to her. He explained it to her. Hoti par en oklesen. This is from it's from par en okleo, which is a verb which does come into the New Testament as well. It means to irritate or annoy, or to trouble. So because she annoyed, she troubled him. She gave him grief. Kai aute apangelen tois viois tu lau autes. And she reported it back to the sons of her people. Kai epan auto hoiandres tes polios ente hemerate hebdome pro tu anatelai ton helion. And the men of the city said to him on the 7th day, before, this is pro tu plus infinitive, this is from anatelomai, to set, to rise actually. So before the day had arisen, I think must be the sense here, before the day had arisen, probably in the sense that the day had ended, we'd probably say in English, but it is anatelomai, to rise. Sorry, the sun had arisen. Yeah, so before the sun had, not the day, the helion is the sun. Before the sun had risen, what is glucuteron? What is sweeter than melitos? This is the genitive of meli. What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And so that was the answer to the riddle. Remember the riddle was what edible thing comes from the one who is eating, and what sweet thing comes from the strong? Well, the answer is honey and lion. Kai apen autois Samson, and Samson said to them, Ame, we get this very funny expression here, Ame erotriasate ente damale mu uk an egnoti to problema moi. Unless you had ploughed, this is from ara triao, if you're looking this one up as an alpha here, which is lengthened. It's a later form of aroo, is the normal word for plough in classical Greek. This is another form, arotriao. So unless you ploughed with my heifer, that is referring to his wife, I presume, you would not know the riddle for me. So you wouldn't know, dative of the possessor, you would not know my riddle. Kai helato epaoton pneuma kuriu, kai at katebe es askelone, kai epataxen ex auton triaconta andras, kai eleben tahamatia auton, kai ederken tostolas tois ap engelasin to problema. Kai orgiste thumo Samson, kai anebe es tonoikon tu patros autu. And we get this expression again, the Spirit of Yahweh leapt upon him from Halamai, and he went down into Askelon. This is from patasso, to strike or to attack. So perhaps, or it's to kill really here. So he struck 30 men from among them, and he took their garments, and he gave their garments to the ones who had solved, or literally reported back, the problema, the puzzle. So he gives them what he promised, but he does it by taking it from the people of Askelon and killing 30 young men in the process. And Samson was excessively angry. He was angry in his thumos, in his heart, and he went into the house of his father. So he went up, I should say, into the house of his father. Kai agenetohegune Samson any tone philon autu hon ephiliasen. It's a very, again, rather odd ending of this chapter. And the wife of Samson literally became to one of his friends. So was given, or was handed over, Henny, to one of his friends. Well, it's just attracted into the genitive. It's referring back to these friends, those friends which he was fond of. This is from Philiasdo. It's a later form. It's an LXX word, Septuagint word. Septuagint language, later language, often loved to create new verbs, especially isdo and asdo verbs. So they've used filio here. From that they've formed philiasdo, to be friendly or towards. It is a Septuagint word, but one of the mimes of Herondas, writing in the Hellenistic period, one of his mimes is called Hi Philiadzusai. So the word was floating around in Hellenistic times, but it's post-classical. And so that is the end of chapter 15.